Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to install core Drupal. So you just go to the download section, which we already were in from the last video, just over here where it says download and extend. And then we're going to download Drupal and the most recent one, which will be here. Okay, so just roll down. And then you want to download the version that you want here. So we got tar.gz or zip. So I'm going to download the zip. Okay, and you'll see that it's downloading here. So we'll wait for that to finish. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go in there and we're going to unzip it. So just go into the download folder or wherever you decide to download it. I'm going to right click on this, and then you can either use your built-in extraction tool, depending on which computer system you're using, or you can download something called 7-zip, which I like to use, and you can use 7-zip to extract it. So I'm going to use 7-zip and extract files. And you can find 7-zip just by doing a search, and I like to use 7-zip because it's a lot faster. Okay, so it's unzipped now, and then when we go inside here and inside the folder within, this is the core version of Drupal. Now what we want to do is upload that to our server. So obviously you need to have your own hosting account and a domain name set up so that you can use this. Now, when I upload things, I like to use a program called FileZilla, which is free. You can just do a search for it or look in the resources document, and you can download FileZilla if you don't have an FTP client that you're already using. All right, so FileZilla is very simple to use. On the left-hand side, you just navigate to the files that you want to upload. So let's go in here and in here. And now here's what we want to upload. Now what you have to do is attach to your server. So all you have to do is put your host name in here, which is your domain name, and the username and password for your hosting account or your FTP account that was set up for you or that you set up. The port will default to the automatic port, but if you changed it, then you can set that there. You also have a site manager here. So if you do File Site Manager, you can set up your sites within there, and then whenever you want to connect up, it's just a matter of picking the site out of there and then connecting up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and connect to my server. So if I upload all these files right into my root directory here, then I will be able to see my site right by typing my domain name in, or I can put it in a folder or a subdirectory. I'm going to put it in a folder here. So I'm going to create a folder or create a directory and enter when done. So I'm just going to call this Drupal, but you could call it something to do with whatever your site's going to be on. So if it was dogs, you could say /dogs. So it's up to you how you want to install this. So I'll just say Drupal here and click OK. Okay, so now we're in the Drupal directory. So now I can just go over here, select one and do Control A, and then I'm going to do right click and upload. Okay, so this is going to upload all of the files that I need for Drupal onto my server. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set up a database and username for that database for Drupal to operate from. Okay, so I'm using cPanel hosting, so I'll show you using cPanel, but there are other types of hosting that you can use, of course. So what I do is I go down to databases, and then what I want to do is use a MySQL database wizard. This will let me do it all in one step. Otherwise, you got to go to set up a database and then set up a username as well. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so you put the name of the database that you want to use in here. So to keep your databases organized, I would suggest that you create the database with a name that associates well with the site you're creating. So I'm just going to call this Drupal. Now the next step, I need to set up the username. Okay, so I'm going to call this Drupal. Again, you can name this whatever you want. And then I'm going to use a password here, of course. Now you can use the password generator, which I suggest. So if you click on that and copy this, say that you have copied it to a safe place, Okay, and then you want to open a notepad session. And then you want to paste your password in here because you're going to need it later. All right, so let's continue with this now. So create user. Okay, then we want all privileges. And then you want next step. Okay, now just copy this because this contains the name of your database and your user. And then copy that into your notepad session as well. I'll copy it in here. And now we have all the information in one spot that we need to finish up the install. Okay, so we'll go back to our FTP client and we'll see that it is now all uploaded. And you'll see that there are no failed transfers, so everything's good. So now all we have to do is type in the URL to our install. So it's my domain name / Drupal. So I'm going to go to the browser and type that in. Okay, so now we have an install wizard. So what you want to do is choose a profile which either standard or minimal. I should just standard because what it does is it installs components that you're likely going to need. Otherwise, you're just going to get the basic core. Okay, so we're going to save and continue. And then we're going to choose our language now. So English, which is built in. Otherwise, we can install other languages, but this is what I want. So save and continue. Okay, so you'll see here that I have a problem with PHP register globals. So what you have to do is change your register global setting to off. And to do that, you can either contact your hosting provider or there may be a way in your control panel to customize your PHP ini using the PHP ini editor. So you see here I'm in my PHP ini editor and I can change my register globals to off right here. So I'll say off. And then I can go to the end of the editor here, apply the changes. Okay, and then let's just make sure it's changed. Okay, so register globals is now off. So when we go back now, let's just refresh here. Okay, and it's taken us to the next screen. So here's where we are going to put in our database. So we're using MySQL. So I'm going to put my database name in here, my database username, and my database password. So we saved all that in our notepad session. So our username and our database name are the same, so we can just grab one. If they were different, you're going to have to use them both. So the database is here and the user's here. They're the same in my case. So we go here and database name, paste it in there. Database username, paste that in there. Password. Okay, and then you can go to advanced options if you want. I'm just going to save and continue. And this will verify that we have that right now. And now it's going through the install. Okay, so now we're at the configuration screen where we can give some of our site information. So it's our name, email address, and then our login information. And some other things down here. So let's just go through it from the beginning. So I'm just going to call it Drupal test, and then email address, So these are where the automated emails are sent from, and you really should have one that's already on your server. So you should set one up in your cPanel under your emails for the domain you're using. But I'm just putting in a dummy one in here for now. Okay, and then of course our username. So Drupal test I'm using, all one word here with a capital T for test. And then we can have a different email address for our account here than for our site if we want. Password and confirm a password. And it'll give you a strength indicator over here. So 6 characters, add lowercase, special letters, uppercase letters, numbers, and punctuation to make it secure. Okay, so what I used is telling me that it's good, but I can do better by adding numbers and adding punctuations. So that'll give you a good indication of how strong your password is. Then down here we have some server settings. So you can set up default country and a default time zone if you want here. And update notifications, so it'll check for updates automatically and receive email notifications when there's an update. You should leave those on, but I'm turning them off because this is a test installation here. So save and continue. Okay, now our site's installed, so let's visit it. And there is our base site. Okay, and that's how you do a core install. In the next video, we're going to go through some setup.